What's up, y'all? Back with another video. I was just thinking about something, and maybe you guys can help me figure this out. It's just some thoughts I had on the top of my head about why a lot of people put more faith when it comes to getting in shape in other products than they do themselves. Because over time, you've seen all kinds of different things on TV, to help you get in shape. You had the little ab crunch machine that's supposed to like squeeze your abs like you do in sit-ups. You got all these fat burner supplements. You got injections. You got pills. You got all sorts of different things that people sell you to help you get in shape, or to get the physique that you want. And a lot of times they don't mention on the TV, hey, this is only a tool to help. It's not going to solve the problem, but they market it as, if you take this, this will be the effects, and you don't have to do anything else. And it's like today, people are looking for so much of a quick fix for everything, because nowadays, everything can be at the push of a button. If you want a certain type of food, you can order DoorDash, Uber Eats, all kinds of stuff at a push of a button. You can have whatever food you want, quick. And so they think if I want to get in shape, it should be the same way. It should be quick. 30 days is enough. If I did 30 days of something, I should be rewarded, right then and there. And a lot of times, if you think about it, fitness is like a commission based job. You're only going to eat what you kill, like in commission. If you make a certain amount of sales, you earn X amount of money. If you do X amount of work consistently, you're going to get X amount of results consistently. And how fast you reach a certain goal depends on you. And we're basically sold a lie nowadays that if you take this, this will be the effects, and you don't have to do any other kind of work. You don't combine it with anything. Like, I don't know, it doesn't matter if it's a program, if it's, even with the program, you got to stick with the program. You got to be consistent with the program, because two things can be true at the same time. Something can be easy and hard at the same time. Getting in shape is easy, but it's also hard because you have to stay consistent. And that's the thing that most people have trouble with, staying consistent. And even if they are consistent, they're only consistent for about, on average, I think about like 2 weeks. If you look at gyms, their revenue or their beginning of the year memberships and stuff, you'll see how many people, like I've heard multiple times, people who used to work at gyms, for the first 2 weeks, those gyms are packed, and that's where you start seeing the most consistent numbers. There'll be a small gym that have hundreds, if not thousands of people, as a member at that one particular location or that one gym. But at how many people, they're probably like nowhere near that capacity at any, especially during the middle of the year or closer to the end of the year, like the holidays and stuff like that. Everybody falls off. No one really stays consistent. And so just like a commission-based job, if you're not actually out making a sale, or if you're not actually out, doing whatever work you're doing, your pay is going to be inconsistent. Some people don't know what to do, where to start, and so they're trying to look for all kinds of shortcuts, and they're trying all these different supplements. And even if they're given a program, they don't stay consistent with the program, and then they're like, oh, I tried this and it didn't work, or I tried this and this doesn't work like they say it does. Realistically, if they were telling the truth, they weren't consistent with it. They might have tried it. They might have been consistent for like a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. There's barely people stay consistent for even a month. to be honest. But with all that being said, people look for all these shortcuts. They put all their faith in certain, products and all this other stuff. And some of y'all are probably too young to remember. I know back, probably about to tell my age real quick, but back in maybe the 90s, early 2000s, that 1-800-99-Jenny. And people say, hey, Jenny Craig helped me lose 50 pounds. I lost 25 pounds. I lost 116 pounds with Jenny Craig. And all of that is because those people got into a program, they stayed consistent, they got the results. I guarantee you there's a hell of a lot of people that probably signed up for Jenny Craig, half-assed it, and then say that stuff doesn't really work like they say it does. And all they did was just have you show up to a place, you do a workout. They might have given you a workout video to do on your own for a little bit, and then they gave you a meal plan. That's really all they did. The people who got the results are the people who stay consistent. And they have control over their progress. They didn't put all their faith in whatever shake they probably had them, drink or whatever with their meal. They didn't put all their faith in something else. They actually had to do the work. So, like I said, getting in shape is easy and hard at the same time. The physical part is easy. It might just take some getting used to. You get sore, but the mental part is what most people have the problem with, and that's what's make getting in shape hard. It's the mental part. And with everything, like I said, quick nowadays, they expect getting in shape to be quick as well. If I lock in, you could be 5'10", 6 foot, and you hitting about 300 pounds, and you think you're gonna be shredded in 30 days? Nah. I had to wait till all the sirens and stuff cleared up. But anyway, like I was saying, they put all this emphasis on all these other things other than themselves. They got more faith in these products than they do themselves. And so I think part of the problem is if something doesn't work, like they don't get in shape, they want to be able to blame a certain method or a pill, or just to say something else didn't work and not they didn't work. So because at that point you got to put the blame on yourself. I know I half-assed, I know I didn't do the work, so now I got something to put the blame on if I don't get the results that I want. And I think that's really the other, basically cope that they use to try and use that as an excuse of why this didn't happen. This doesn't work like they said it would. It's another nostalgia thing. I'm pretty sure y'all probably seen Slim Fast in the stores or something. Maybe you shopping, you might have just looked at it, didn't really think. But back in the late 90s, early 2000s, Slim Fast used to be a big thing. They had Slim Fast commercials. I haven't seen Slim Fast commercials in probably really over 20 years, to be honest. But that used to be a big thing, Slim Fast. Help you lose weight. It's a shake or whatever. It's basically like a meal replacement or whatever. And so there's probably a lot of people at that time, who drunk just Slim Fast and just didn't change anything else and didn't lose any weight or anything like that. And they're like, oh, Slim Fast doesn't work. No, you gotta do other stuff other than just have that meal replacement. If you don't change anything else, you might lose maybe 2 pounds because you feel more full, so you don't eat as much as you normally would, but it's not gonna make any kind of noticeable difference. If you're just relying on just a supplement and don't change anything else, nothing's gonna change. If you don't change nothing, you're not gonna see any change. So I'm about to wrap this up because it looks like it's about to start raining out here. But basically, to sum it all up, you got more control than you think you do, as long as you stay consistent and put in the work. It's not always gonna feel good and be easy mentally, but as you do it and you get more consistent, you get used to doing it, it becomes easier, and that's when you start seeing the results, because then it's going to become almost like anything else. Just like when you first start driving, you had to pay extra attention to the road. Make sure you're staying in the lines. You got to make sure you turn your blinker off. For those of you who actually use your blinkers, it's not there as a fashion show on your cars. And just like anything else, a new job, something new. So yeah, at first it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's going to feel, a little bit tedious at first, and then it starts getting easy. Sometimes you don't even have to think about the certain stuff. Oh yeah, if I do this, I had this and this, I'll put it in my phone or whatever, and it does the math for you. Everything becomes easy. And if you don't know what to do, where to start, you can contact me. I'll have the description down below on my Instagram. You can hit me up on my Instagram and say, hey, I'm looking to get in shape. I'm looking to stop sitting on the sideline, sitting on my ass, being a dad bod or whatever they say they like nowadays, which is complete BS, because in person, I can guarantee you, when it comes to someone in person that's in shape versus dad bod, I guarantee you, without reasonable doubt, I see with my own two eyes that they will more than likely, I'm not going to say everybody, but more than likely most, if you're a guy and you're trying to, if you're worried about dating and all of this stuff, I guarantee you, you're going to have a lot better results getting in shape, getting down to at least 15%, body fat or whatever. Even if you're not as shredded as me, at least if you get close, you'll have much better results than the average dad bod guy. That's the stone cold truth. I can only tell you what I've seen for myself and experienced for myself. But all that to say, take control of what the fuck you eat. Take control of the exercise you do. And if you need someone, even if it's not me, you can go hire a coach that's going to help you from start to finish, help you starting off, see where you're slacking at, see where you have problems at, and we can work on, fixing, whether it's you eating late at night, whether it's you have, drinks and stuff like that, you like to eat sweets or whatever. There's substitutes, healthy substitutes for all of that stuff. So that's all I got for you today, guys, and I'll see y'all in the next one.